Hello guys, this is Samuel once again from Sunny Tech. Okay, so if you are new to this channel and you are interested in content relating to web development and PC tricks, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Okay, so let's jump into the lecture. Okay, so what is CSS? So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet, and cascading refers to the way CSS applies one style on top of another, and style sheets control the look and feel of web documents. Okay, so CSS and HTML work hand in hand, and HTML describes the page structure since it is the markup language, and CSS defines how the HTML elements are displayed. And since they move or they work hand in hand, you need to understand HTML before moving to CSS. So if you don't have any knowledge about HTML, check out the description to my 30 minutes crash course on HTML. Okay, so this is the basic CSS syntax. You can write it this way, but I'll prefer you put it this way. That's the vertical way. And also we have some CSS selectors. So CSS selectors are used to locate HTML elements based on their elements name, ID, class or attribute and more. Okay, so you can check out this. And let's talk about CSS comments. Okay, so comments are codes that do not output to the browser. Yeah, so they are ignored by the browser basically. And we have a single line comment and a multi-line comment. Okay, so let's talk about one more thing. Okay, so there are three ways of writing CSS. We can create an external CSS file, that is a style.css file, and link it into your HTML, or you can do an internal CSS file by opening a style tag and styling your CSS or writing your CSS. And we can also do an inline CSS. We'll do that later in the crash course. Okay, so let's go write some CSS. Okay, so let me open my Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I've created two files. I'm going to open this with live server. Okay, so what I said, so now let's link our external CSS. So what's happening? Okay, so let's link our external CSS. I'm going to be using Emmet to help me code faster, so I'm going to do link CSS. And so to do your internal CSS, you have to put it into the header tag or into the head tag. So I'm going to do style, and I'm going to write my CSS here. And also for the inline, it has to go into an HTML tag. So let's consider the paragraph, and we can do style. Can do style, and maybe do font size. And you can set that to maybe 20 px, and you can do this and inline CSS. Okay, so now let's view this in our browser. Okay, so it works nice. Okay, so now we can style the same thing here. Okay, so now I'm going to create a class. So I'm going to do class, and I'll give it inline. Okay, nice. So I'm going to select this class. I'm going to do dot inline. Okay, so to select a class, you put a dot and the name of the class, and to select an ID, you do hashtag in the name. So I can do font size and give it okay, let me do 30 px, and let me get rid of this for now so you see the effect. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, so it looks bigger. Okay, let me reset this to 100. Okay, so nice. Okay, so now we're going to work with our external CSS file. So let me get rid of all of this and this as well. Okay, nice. Okay, so now let's talk about the global selectors. So we do margin 0 and padding 0, box size in border box. Yes, to reset everything to normal, because when you check in your console, you're going to see some default margin and padding. So that is why we do this margin 0, padding 0 thing. Yes. Okay, so we can get rid of this for now. Okay, so now let's talk about CSS colors. Okay, so I'm going to create some paragraph. So P with some dummy text. I'll do some lorem. See, then I'm going to duplicate this 2 more times. I'm going to give this one a class of color 1, and I'm going to give this one a class of color 2. So color 2. I'm going to do color 3. So class of color 3. Okay, so now I'm going to style this using the 3 ways of styling CSS. Okay, sorry, 3 ways of applying colors. So I'm going to do dot color color 1 and dot color 2 and dot color 3. Okay, so now we can simply do color and give it, say, red and end with a semicolon. Sorry. And also there's another way using the hex, so you can do color and you can do hashtag, say CCC, maybe I think it's some gray color. Yes, right. Okay, so and the last one is the RGB, so you can do color and do RGB and let's do maybe 255 comma 100 comma 100. Okay, so let's check our output. Okay, so now you see the difference. Okay, so now this is CSS colors. Okay, so now let's talk about some CSS properties. So I can get rid of this and this as well. Okay, so CSS properties, I'm going to use a div to talk about this. So now let me create a div with a class of prop. Okay, so I'm going to do some, okay, I'm going to do, let's talk about CSS properties. Okay, so now let's check our output. Okay, nice. Okay, so with CSS properties, I can select and do prop. Hope I got that class name correct. Let me see. Yes, nice. Okay, so with CSS properties, we can do something like font family, and we can leave that to cursive. That's one of my favorite fonts. And we can do, say, font size. What did I write? Don't. What's wrong with me? So font size, and we can say 20px. You can also leave it in ems and rems. Yeah. Okay, so we can also do font weight, and let's leave it to 500 and give it some color. We did color already, so but let's do some green. Yeah, I like green. Okay, so let's just check our output for now. Okay, so let's talk about CSS. So we've applied. Okay, so now let me alter this so you see the effect. Let me do 700. It's just like bold. Okay, so you see it looks nice. Okay, so now let me get rid of this, and we have some other stuff like text, shadow, indenting the text. Yeah, so the best way to learn CSS is to use Visual Studio Code. That is the first way, and you can do something like, say, text decoration. And to learn CSS, after installing Visual Studio Code, after you type this, get rid of the semicolon and bring it back again, so you see lots of stuff displayed, so you can go through and see what each and every one means. So that's the best way to learn CSS with Visual Studio Code. Okay, so what else I wanted to do? Okay, so now let's try the text shadow. So text shadow, text shadow, where are you? Okay, so with the text shadow I can do let's see 5px and 4px, 2px, and give it a color, say gray. Let's see your output. I'll explain this later. Okay, so nice, you see it works nice. Okay, so we're giving this text some shadow. Okay, so the 5 is for the x coordinate, this is for the y coordinate, this is for the blur radius, and this is the color. You can change this color. Yes. Okay, so now let's do font variants. Okay, so now as I said, to learn CSS you can get rid of the semicolon, bring it back, and some options will be displayed. So let's use small caps and see our output. Okay, so you see small capital letters. Okay, so now let's try this one more time. Get rid of this with a colon. You can play around with this to learn or to be a self-taught I talk too much. To be a self-taught developer, you need to use Visual Studio Code. And okay, so now let's try normal. Okay, so in help of some CSS properties, you can go check out the rest from w3schools.org. I'll be leaving a link to their website in the description down below. I don't know what's happening to me today, but I've eaten too. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, so let's do some other CSS stuffs. Okay, so now let's talk about borders. Okay, so let me bring a p tag out and bring out some diameter. So let me do lorem C15 and Alt Z to wrap this text. So I can select my p and give it a border. What's happening? So border one more time. Okay, so border, and let me do 1px. Okay, so now let me see my output. Oh, what's happening? Wow, really? Okay, so solid. I can give it a color as well. Okay, so it works nice. So now this leads us to talk about some margin and padding. Okay, so I can specify what's happening? I can specify some colors here. I don't know why I'm making so much grammatical errors. Okay, so now let's talk about the margin and padding. So you can give it some space around it. You can do some margin, and let's see 10px. Let's see. Okay, let's see 20px. Okay, nice. Okay, so now let's do some padding. So padding. So padding of 20px. I think that is too much. So our browser. Okay, so that's giving it some space around the borders, and the margin will give it some space as well, but outside. Okay, that's nice. So now let's talk about some background color. So bg color, and we can do let me do cyan. Okay, so now let's see. Nice. This thing is too bright, it's hurting my eye. Okay, so now let's talk about background image. Okay, so now with this I can insert a background image into my body. So I can select the body element and do background, and to insert an image I can do URL, and I can do bg dot, let me check the extension of my image. So bg.jpg, so jpg, and I can close this. Let me see. Okay, let me make this big. Okay, so I can apply some other background properties. I can do background repeat and set that to no repeat, but I can simply write that here and do no repeat. Let's see. Okay, so I can do set the background size to cover, Okay, so it works nice. We have background attachments, we have a lot, so you can check out all this on w3schools.org. I'm going to be a bit fast because of time, and we can do some list items. So okay, so for the list, I'm going to do an ordered list with some li, and I think I need 3 of them. So 3. This is Emmet, so I can do list 1. So alt oh, what am I doing? So alt, so I can do alt and do list 2. Okay, so I can now change this to 3. So I just press alt and I use my cursor to choose where I want to type. That's how I was able to select all of those. Okay, so with this I can do is it li, and I can do list what's wrong, list style, and so semicolon, it comes again. So we have circle, so let's check this out. Okay, nice. So semicolon, once again we have decimal. I've not used this before. Wow. We have, I think we have square. Let me see. So square, let's see. Okay, nice. So you can play around with this by using the colon trick. That is what I use to learn CSS. Yes, and I advise you to keep on practicing because CSS has lots of stuff inside. Okay, so now let's talk about styling some link, some anchor tags. So I can do a leading to nowhere. So I do my link. Nice. Okay, so let's open this in the browser. So I can start this link. I can simply get rid of this, and select the A and do text decoration and set that to none. Let's see. Okay, so nice. I can change the color and do color. Oh, can do color, say green. Okay, no. Okay, so it looks nice. Okay, that whole lot of stuff you can do with CSS. I'm going to be a bit faster now. Let's talk about the mouse, so the pointer. So let me do a button btn submit, and do submit. So submit. So I can select this and do button and do cursor. Can set that to pointer. So when I hover over this, it changes to pointer. Okay, so we can do the colon trick. So colon, so progress. Let's see what we have with progress. Okay, so one more time. So colon trick, get rid of the colon, and let's try. Okay, let me see, zoom out. Okay, wow. Okay, nice. This is CSS for you. This is Visual Studio Code for you as well. Okay, so now let me get rid of all this, and okay, so now let's talk about some floats. I can't cover everything in CSS. Okay, so P and do some random text. What's happening to my typing skills? Some random text. Okay, so what am I doing? I can duplicate this by simply pressing Alt and Shift and the arrow key. So some random text 2. Okay, so let me give this an ID. So an ID of me. happening? Another idea of you. Okay, so I can select, do me, and do float left. Okay, so let's do hashtag you and float right. Nice. Okay, so now let's check our output. What's happening? Wow, I'm going to fix this. Okay, so now let's check our output. Okay, so some random text. So this one floats to the left and to the right. See, it looks nice. Okay, let me get rid of this. Oh, what can I do? Okay, so now let's talk about the z index. Yes, I'm going to do a paragraph, no, a div, the class of blue, and another div, the class of green. Okay, so I'm going to talk about z index. Okay, so let me do blue and give it a height and a width of 50 px. So give it a width of what's that mad dog barking in my neighborhood? Okay, so now let's see what we have. Oh, let's give it a background color. So background color of blue. What else? Okay, so blue, let's check. Nice. Perfect. Okay, so no, and let's give it some border radius. So BR, border radius of 50% to make it rounded. Wow, nice. Okay, so let me increase this to 100, and let's do same. So let me just copy this and paste it here. Change this to, what did I do? Green. Yes, and give this green. Okay, so now let's check our outputs. Nice. Okay, so now let's see the effect of the z index. So let me do some margin bottom of negative 30 px and copy this. Oh no, okay, let me do position relative, and I can grab this and can paste it here. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, nice. So it is overlapping the blue. Okay, so I can do some z index here. So I can do z index and set that to 1. So now let's see what happens. So first the green was on top of the blue. Okay, so now it changes. Nice. I can change this to 2. So when you start developing real life projects, you are going to see the importance of the z index. So let me give you a typical example. So when you want to do that back to top button, see, most of the time there's some back to top button at the corner of every website. So actually when you start creating that, the back to top button is supposed to be behind the content, but use the z index to bring it out. Okay, so when I keep on talking plenty, I make lots of mistakes, so I'm tired. Okay, so now let's talk about some pseudo classes or some pseudo elements. Okay, so I can get rid of this, and let's do a div with a class of pseudo. Inside this div, I want a paragraph, and I think 3 of them. Yes, and so alt, I select. Oh, let me do it one more time. So alt, select, and I can do first child. Nice. So last child, and second child. Okay, so nice. Okay, so now let's style these. Okay, so I can style this one, the first child, give it a background of red. So I can do dot pseudo and select p and do first child. Nice. And I can do, let me see, font size. I can set that to 20 pixels. Okay, so now let's see our output. Okay, so nice. Okay, so let me give it some font weight of 700, so you see the output more. Okay, so it works nice. Okay, so can do same. I can do, so we have last child, and can do color. So cadet blue. Yeah, I like this color too. Nice. Okay, so this is more of pseudo. Okay, so now let's talk about some more pseudo stuff like the hover, the active, the focus. I want to create a button. So I want to do be button. I want to be a type of submit, and I'll do login, and let's start this. So let me get rid of this and do button. This like a crash course is becoming boring. Don't worry. So let's check our output first. Okay, so we have this simple button here. So I can give it some padding around it of say 10 px and give it a border radius of 5 px. Yes. Okay, so now let's check. Nice. I can give it a background of let me see, cadet blue. Oh, cadet blue. Let's check. And let me give it a color of white. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so nice. Okay, so now let's apply some pseudo. Okay, so to apply some pseudo, we simply select this. So copy, paste, and do colon and say hover. Okay, so now when you hover over this, I want the width to increase to, okay, not the width. Okay, I want to change the padding. So change the padding to 20 pixel, and I want to change the background to blue. No, let me do light blue. And I want to change the color to hashtag 0000 black. Okay, so now let's try. When I hover over this, okay, so nice. Now let me change the color so you see the effect more. So let me do orange yellow. Yes, nice color. Okay, so now let's try this one more time. So orange yellow, the padding also increases and the color changes from white to black. Okay, so nice. So we have other ones like, so the colon trick. So colon, we have in range, invalid, lots of stuff here. You can check this out. Okay, so don't start a class or an ID, so don't select it with a number. Okay, so now we are getting to the end of our crash course. The video is getting much more longer. I would advise you to check out w3schools.org. You have nice documentations and nice stuff about CSS you can learn from, or you can also check from Solo Learn. It's an app you can get it from the Play Store or the App Store. Okay, so now let's create our simple login project for our crash course. So I'm going to create a login page. Okay, I'm going to be a bit fast with this. I'm going to select the body and do some background and do URL and bg.jpg and do no repeat and background size set that to cover. So now let's check. Oh .jpg. So now let's check. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to create a div with a login as a mother class, and inside this class you have another div with a class of input, and inside this you have two input fields with a button, a submit button. Okay, so I did this to save time and I applied some styles here. Okay, so I gave the body a background and I applied some styles to the login class. So did the position absolute top left to put it at the center. So you can play around with CSS and you can get some useful information and good documentations from w3schools.org, or you can download the SoloLearn app on your mobile phone from Google Play Store or Apple's App Store. Okay, so don't forget to leave a like, a comment, share this video and subscribe. Stay tuned for other interesting videos. Thank you so much for watching.